Hey, it's Blastzone Mike, and this is nighttime outside. And I hope there's light in your heart. I hope you're staying 6 feet away from each other, wearing your mask when you can and when you need to, which is right now, always. And I have the great pleasure of talking to Ricky Warwick. Ricky is the Almighty, and he did all kinds of solo stuff that was great. Black Country Communion.
No, Black Star Riders.
I mean, Black Side Riders. I'm sorry. It's Black Star Riders. I'm sorry. Black Star
Yeah.
Riders. And he was in Thin Lizzy, right? You did Thin Lizzy for a while, right?
Still am in Thin Lizzy, yeah.
Or isn't it now Black Star Riders, not Thin Lizzy? Or is he still doing
Well,
Thin
no,
Lizzy?
it's two different things. Black Star Riders are their own entity, and Scott Gorham's still doing Thin Lizzy every once in a while. We're doing some festivals now and again, and whenever the urge takes Scott Gorham to play those amazing songs, if he wants me to sing them, I'll be there.
Wow. When you first were told that he wanted you to sing
Hmm.
Phil Lynette stuff, what did you
Hmm.
think? Did you think, are you crazy, or was he a hero of yours?
You know, Scott called me, and I've known Scott, I've had the pleasure of knowing Scott for a long time, and I thought he was just calling me up to see how I was doing. Scott actually played one of my solo records back in the day, and so I get the phone call, and then he drops the question, and you say yes straight away. Obviously I've grown up in Ireland and grown up in Belfast in Ireland. Thin Lizzy were the soundtrack of my youth, and they're my all-time favorite band, and Phil is and was and still is my hero. And I was just gobsmacked. My jaw hit the floor. I said yes straight away. I talked a little bit to Scott about how he wanted to present the new look lineup of the band. And then when the phone went down, that's when I went, oh crap! What have I just agreed to? What have I done? How am I going to even attempt to do this? And that's when the anxiety and the fear and the excitement as well set in. And I thought, well, I grew up with those songs. I love them. You know, Phil Lynott's lead singer of Thin Lizzy. There is no other lead singer. It's Phil. When I close my eyes, I see Phil sing with Thin Lizzy, not me. Phil's just given me his songs to keep those songs alive, and that's all I'm doing. I'm keeping those great songs alive, and playing them is such an honor. And I try and do it with as much humility and as much grace as I can. Phil is irreplaceable. I would never dream of even putting a little toe in those shoes. All I can do, Mike, is stand beside them and hope some of his greatness wears off, and play those songs with enough intensity, power, and passion and soul that Phil gave them. I mean, like I said, they're the soundtrack to my life, so they mean so much to me personally. It's just such a huge honor to be given the mantle of looking after those songs, and playing into people that maybe never got to see Lizzie. Now
What,
we'll go back and check out those wonderful Lizzie albums.
when you first did that first show live, as in Lizzie, did you think to
Yes.
yourself, these people are going to hate me, or did you
Oh,
like,
that whole first tour was the whole first.
oh man, what happened? Where'd he go? He's gone. Oh, God, I hate this shit sometimes. I swear I hate this shit sometimes. Oh, I'm trying to stay with him. I don't know what happened. He's gone. Oh, what did you do there? I don't know now. What happened to him? Just disappeared.
Mike, we're not having much luck. I'm sorry, brother. That was on me. That was my fault. That one.
That's all
That was.
right.
I had my phone on Do Not Disturb, and my wife still managed to call me on. So there you go. that's
So,
that's the power of my good lady wife. Sorry, you asked me about the first Lynn Lizzie show.
yeah.
Yeah, it was in Aberdeen in Scotland, Aberdeen Music Hall, which is a great venue. And the way the show started, there was a kabuki, like a big curtain, and the intro tape would go, and then the kabuki would drop, and we were supposed to jump out and start with "Are You Ready?" And I just remember standing behind that curtain, going, "What the hell have I agreed to? What they're gonna friggin' crucify me out here?" It was a sold out show, and Scott Gorham just leans over and taps me on the knee and goes, "Hey, bud, it'll be fine." And I just remember thinking, I wanted to punch him. All I wanted to do was punch him. I just want to punch him, going, "How did you talk me into this craziness?" And then before I know it, the curtains dropped and we're off. But that first tour was interesting for a lot of reasons, Mike. Number one, everybody, the first couple of songs, you could see everybody just kind of sitting there going, "Okay, what's this guy sound like? What's this going to be like? Is this going to be any good? Am I going to like this? Is this all right?" So it wasn't like there was no reaction, but it was a very sort of look of just curiosity. And then I think by the third or fourth song, people were going, "Hey, this is rocking. This is good. I'm getting into this." And so, then it became a show and it became great. But a couple of the great things that happened on that tour, Mike, was the power of the internet. A few of the shows hadn't quite sold out, and after the first show in Aberdeen, the tour sold out the very next day. The whole tour completely sold out, due to the reviews, which was obviously gave me a great deal of confidence. And then I had the great honor of playing in Dublin, which is obviously Phil's home city and hometown. And, that was crazy, sold out show. And Phil's mom was at the show.
Oh.
And I was really aware of Phil's mom. She's up in one of the boxes, and I could sort of see her out the corner of my eye, but I didn't dare look at her during the show. I just couldn't look at her. I was too nervous. Show was amazing. Show was great. We go to the after show. Phil's mom's sitting there. She's a fantastic lady who sadly passed away about a year ago.
Oh.
Lovely woman. And she waves me over and she goes, "Ricky," she goes, "My Philip would have absolutely loved that." She says, "The soul, the passion, and the power that you put into his songs," he said, "he would have loved it. He would have just loved it." And I just started bawling. I just started bawling my eyes out like a little kid, and she gave me a hug and was so gracious to me, and all the validation that I ever needed was right there in the 10 minutes that I spent with her, and it was just she was so amazing with me and just made me feel welcome. And the fact that, I was keeping her son's music alive seemed to mean so much to her. And that was wonderful.
And now since then, I mean, you've probably seen a lot of bands that have new singers and guitar players. I mean, look at Quiet Riot, for God's sakes. There's not.
Right.
I think Chuck's the only original member in Quiet Riot, the bass player. And I just interviewed that's on my show now with the drummer, who was a typo negative and all that, and now he's a drummer.
Sure.
So he had all that put together before he died.
Sure.
And he's getting a lot of shit. They're like, "Why would you keep Quiet Riot going?" But he kept Quiet Riot going after Kevin died. It's like Warrant. Warrant, even though they didn't have Janie when Janie died.
Yeah.
They're still going. These bands still have to. I mean, look at Queen. Sure. Adam Lambert. Adam's great with Queen.
He's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So, I mean, what do you say to people that might be critical of guys like you that come in? Because there's only one original member of Thin Lizzy, Scott Gorham, right? And it's Damon Johnson.
In the touring lineup right now, yes. Yeah. Well, when we started, there was three. There was Brian Downey was playing drums, and Darren Wharton, who joined later in Lizzy. He joined on the Chinatown album. Darren was playing keys. Darren's still with us. So it's Scott and Darren from the original band that are still in the lineup now. You know what I say, Mike? I say, newsflash, people die. People get old. People get sick. The music doesn't do any of those things. The music lives forever. We're the first generation, you and I, where our are you still there?
Yeah, are you leaving me again?
No, I don't know what's going on. There we go. I don't know. Gremlins are hard at work at the minute.
I guess, man.
So we're the first generation where our rock and rollers are dying of old age.
Yeah.
Because rock and roll started in the 50s, and back in the 80s, if you were 35, people were going, "Well, you're done. You're too old. It's a young man's game." But guess what? Everybody's now living into the 60s and 70s. And a lot of these bands and a lot of these artists are putting out some fucking killer music in their later years. It's all about the music. If a band replaces Alice, look at the Coop, man.
Mean,
yeah.
My buddy Ryan plays for them, Ryan Roxy.
Yeah, I know Ryan. Ryan's a great guy. if it's relevant and there's still heart and soul, look, if bands keep carry on and you go and see the show and it sucks and they're dialing it in and and you can tell they're doing it for a paycheck, that's inexcusable. But if they still are playing with heart and soul, with integrity, and they still mean it, and you can tell the difference, then I'm all for it, because that's the cycle of life. The music lives forever, man. When I'm dead and gone, and I'm 6 feet under, I would love it if somebody would continue to play my music. Absolutely love it, because that's why I write the damn stuff in the first place, to leave a legacy.
That's before we go any farther, I just got off with Ryan Cook. Ryan from
I know Ryan. Yeah, man. How's Ryan doing?
I just interviewed for Kiss This, a tribute to Kiss they're doing.
Yep.
And he was with the other guy that put that together, John. Yep. And also, after I get done, I'm talking to Mark Ferrari, and he said to tell you hi.
Oh, I told Mark I said hi, yeah.
So, small world, buddy. But anyway.
Well, we all know each other, It's good. It's good brotherhood. Good brotherhood and sisterhood out there,
But as far as that goes, I've always been a Damon Johnson fan.
Sure, Damon's
Damon
great.
Was amazing in his band,
yep.
Brother Kane, and of course,
here.
One of the guys went on to be in Jackal. He's still in Jackal this day. So Damon still puts up solo albums that are great, and obviously you're good friends with him because you play with him, and stuff. Is that how the other band come about? Is because of all the different members, and you all just wanted to have something different to release new music with because you didn't want to do it with Thin Lizzy, or what was the case?
Pretty much, you pretty much nailed it, Mike. We were having such a good time doing the Lizzy stuff, and it's going so well. You get excited and you get to start a little bit ahead of yourself, and we said, maybe we should write some songs. So we were kind of looking around for Scott or Brian maybe to sort of, get this thing rolling, and nothing was happening. And Damon obviously is a songwriter, and so am I. So I sort of said, Damon, how about we just get a couple of ideas and we give it to Scott and Brian and see what they think. So we wrote a couple of tunes, and Scott and Brian loved it. And we started doing some demos, and then the sort of penny dropped in reality, and it was like, hang on a minute, we're thinking about making a Thin Lizzy album here without Phil. Playing these songs live is one thing. Recording without the man is a step too far, and I think that's when the head started to overrule the heart, because it's like, hang on a minute, this isn't right. This doesn't sit well. It was the elephant in the room, and when we finally got to the crunch moment, we all sort of just said, this isn't the right thing to do. It's not right to call this Thin Lizzy. It's not right to record without Phil. It's not the right move. Playing songs live is one thing, and yada yada yada, but recording, no. So we had these 15 songs that were great, and I suggested to Scott, I said, let's just put them out under another name. I said, we got to release them. They're great songs. I said, let's just change the name of the band. And at that point, Brian Downey decided he really didn't want to tour that much anymore. So he sort of stepped aside. So Jimmy DeGrasso came in drums, and, Black Star Riders were born. Black Star Riders became the sort of name for those songs that we'd written. And we didn't know if anybody was going to care. We didn't know if the Lizzy fans would dig it. We didn't know if it was going to, become a thing. We just wanted to get those songs out. We did, and it did, and here we are 9 years later, and we're about to make our 5th record, and we absolutely made the right decision. I mean, I sleep easy in my mind as a Thin Lizzy fan, knowing that we didn't record under that moniker.
Now, Jimmy's in Dead Daisies now, right?
No, Jimmy's. I don't know what Jimmy's doing. He's not in Black Star Riders anymore, but I'm not sure who he's. But he's not in Dead Daisies. No.
I thought he returned. He was. In
no. The thingy from Journey's playing drums with Dead Daisies.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I get them mixed up. I get those two guys mixed up. That's all.
They're both great drummers. It's easy to do, right?
When you think of Almighty, you think of Ricky Warwick. When you think of Motley Crue, you think about Vince, Tommy, Nick, and Nikki. Okay, it's one of those things. It's like you know, you've been around a long time, so you know what I'm talking about. Do you remember when Bullet Boys, Bang Tango, and Fresh Pussycat went on tour, and they used the same band? It was just the three
Right.
singers in a bus. Could you
Right.
imagine them being in a bus with those three singers? I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot of egos right there, right? Three singers
yeah,
in
I
one bus.
mean,
Whoa.
whoa, boys, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, so, but I mean, with Almighty, you toured with a lot of bands. I mean, you toured with a
We
lot of
did.
huge bands.
Yeah.
I mean, Almighty come out the gate kicking ass. I mean, you all were like the shit, you know, and
Yeah.
then I love the fact that you were able to reinvent yourself and reinvent
Thank you.
yourself and reinvent
Thank you.
yourself. Like I said, this new album isn't like the old Ricky Warwick stuff, because when I
Hmm.
think of Ricky Warwick stuff, I think of like that bluesy piano driven hard rock. And the first two
Hmm.
songs off the album are more love songs, more slow
Hmm.
paced songs. And I might be wrong about that, but that's the way I look at them. And that's not bad. I love the way they sound. They're great.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's funny because I'm interviewing a young band from the UK on Saturday, and they're playing one of your shows in the UK. They're called Still Mage,
Uh-huh.
and they're
Hmm.
opening one of your shows. And I was
Right. Yeah.
like, they're like Ricky Warwick, wait, and they're totally thrash. They're a thrash band. They're like
Sure.
16 years old, 17,
Sure.
16, 17 years old.
Sure.
So it's kind of like you go full circle when I just told you that Ryan and Mark said hi to you. It's kind of
Yeah.
like you go
Yeah.
full circle, and we live in such a
Yeah.
small world.
We do. We do. You know, when we've all, like you're right. I've been around a long time. I've been touring pretty much my whole adult life, and at one point you end up meeting most people. You just do, and I've got to know a lot of cool people over the years, and it's been great. It's been great getting to know those people, and like you said, Ryan. I met Ryan when I was in Nashville, and yeah, he's great, and yeah, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful occupation. I highly recommend it. Sometimes it'll break your heart, but then hey, so does everything,
Where are you actually right now? Where are you living?
I'm actually at home in Los Angeles right now.
Oh, so you live in Los Angeles then?
I've been here 16 years.
So you're in lockdown right now?
We are in full lockdown, my friend. Yes, yes,
How
indeed.
has it been for you for the COVID?
It's been, I'm lucky. There's food in the fridge. There's a roof over my head. My wife's been able to work from home. My kids have been able to do online schooling from home. I've been able to do an online show every month, which has been great. I've been able to write a lot. I've been able to record a lot. I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm okay. I'm blessed. I've been healthy too, thankfully. So I count my blessings. There's a lot of people out there that aren't so lucky, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel for those people. But I've tried to be as positive as I can, and just it is what it is. There's nothing that we can do about it. I loved your opening statement, Mike. I thought about wearing the mask and the whole thing. I mean, I'm just sad that in the good old US of A, we've politicized something that's so horrendous so much when we need to be together and fight this thing together. And
One
on a
thing I want to
personal,
say, not to cut you off, but I want to say this before you get started. At the first year when this first happened, we were
yeah,
kind of coming together as a nation. And
yeah,
then we had the heinous thing that happened in Minneapolis, and it just like tore our world apart. You
yeah,
know, you living in Los Angeles, you saw it. I didn't. I live in the middle of the country in Kentucky. Okay,
yeah,
I didn't get
yeah,
to see any of that except for what I saw in
yeah,
the news. And
yeah,
then the political aspect of it, I've seen friends I've had for years on Facebook give me the middle finger and say, "Hey, if you're going to
yeah,
vote for a Republican, then we don't want you to be friends with us."
sure,
In the long run, I've come out and said, if I would have seen the Joe Biden that I saw when he had his
yeah,
acceptance speech, I
yeah,
probably would have voted for Joe Biden. But all I saw
sure,
was a moron.
sure,
And he's turned out to be maybe I should have voted
sure,
for him.
sure,
And that's the thing that I don't get about people, Ricky, is, and you've probably seen it with your own self, with politics and everything else going on in the world. If you don't swing a certain way that people want you to nowadays, they just shut you out. And it's like we need to come
yeah,
together as the
yeah,
UK, as United States, Australia, as
sure,
Germany, wherever the
sure.
hell we're from,
Yeah,
and
listen,
be like
it's
this. We can't be
yeah,
like this. We're never going to beat this thing if we
sure.
keep on growing apart from each other. And
No, it's a virus. you know, Mike, it doesn't care what color your skin is or what your political beliefs are or what your religious beliefs are. It doesn't care. Why can't people understand that? You know, nobody's asking you to go to war. Nobody's asking you to dodge a bullet. They're just asking you to put on a fucking mask for fucking a few hours a day when you go to the store or when you hang with your friends. You know, I couldn't, my mother passed away back over in Ireland in March this year, and I couldn't fly back for the funeral because of COVID. So if somebody's preaching to me that, oh, it doesn't affect me and I'm all right. Well, you know, hang on a minute. I know a couple of people that have had it. I know one person that's died from it. And I couldn't get home because of so yes, it does. It's affected me. And, you know, let's not politicize everything. It's nothing to do with politics. It's a disease. And the only way that we will beat it is by listening to doctors. You break your arm, you go to the doctors. The doctor says, you need to put a cast on that arm. You need to wear it for 6 weeks. You do what he tells you. So when that same doctor says, hey, this is a contagious disease. If you wear a mask, you're going to minimize your risk of getting it. And people go, oh, I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah,
what's the point in having a doctor? Why did doctors and surgeons wear masks when they're operating? Why did, you know?
That's a good point. But see, if you go to places like Denmark and you go to places like that, it's gone down like this because people listen. Australia, it's gone down.
Yep.
But in America, we think that we're privileged.
Yeah.
And we think that we can do whatever we want to do. That's the reason why Kentucky. That's why Kentucky has no restaurants open right now, except for drive-through.
Right.
That's why our kids aren't in school. That's the reason why. In my small town where I live, there's 8,000 people. We got 150 cases.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and
it's a disease. It's nothing to do with politics.
If people just come together, we can make things work.
I couldn't agree more, and that's so true in a lot of issues. And we just have a tendency to politicize everything. Growing up in a country like Northern Ireland in the 70s and 80s, which was torn apart by religious bigotry and hatred and the whole division thing, you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Negativity begat negativity. It just doesn't work. You know, it doesn't work. And so many innocent people end up becoming victims of the stupidity. Anyway.
We have to talk about it. You know, I mean, it's something we have to talk about.
I agree.
It's something we have to talk about. And I'm sorry to hear your mother passed away. Did she pass away of COVID?
That. She didn't. No, she didn't. Okay. She passed away. She lived a good life, and time just caught up with her. But you know, it broke my heart that I wasn't able to fly back for the funeral because I didn't want to risk flying and risk going over there right when it all. This is March, so it was when it first
hit the fan.
Huge wave, you know. And I just had to accept that that's what it was, you know.
And you have kids, right?
Yeah, I do.
How old are your children?
Youngest is 13, oldest is 23.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an old guy, I promise. He's he's a rock star. They stay 27 the rest of their life. Isn't that the true story?
Right.
If you're 27 the rest of your life, then you never grow old, right?
That's it.
So what has been your favorite, and I know you're going to give me the standard answer probably, but what is your favorite all-time Ricky Warwick project that you ever did?
You know, everybody always says the current one that they're working on. Of course they do. You know, but I think I'm going to say the current one. I'll tell you one of the reasons why. There's a song on the album called Time Don't Seem to Matter. And my youngest daughter, who's called Pepper, she sang on that song with me.
Nice.
And that was a huge, proud dad moment and just a really special moment for me. Probably a lot more for me than it was for her because I think she was more concerned about getting Starbucks after we did it. But so that's just something that it was just, you know, if you could bottle it, it was just one of those timeless, amazing sort of moments that made me very proud. So I think that has to be the reason that I'm going to stick with the current record I just put.
What's your favorite tour you ever been on?
There's been a lot, brother. I mean, you know, we toured to the Ramones and then we jumped right off the Ramones and went straight onto Motorhead. And, you know, if it had ended right there, I could have no complaints because those are two of my all-time favorite bands. We've been out with Megadeth, Iron Maiden, you know. I mean, all these bands are bands that I'm massive fans of. And huge. Def Leppard took me out for a year. I was on tour with Def Leppard for a year, which was incredible. I've been so blessed in that department. I've got to play with, you know, pretty much all the bands that I idolized and influenced me as a kid.
And that was the original Def Leppard, right? With Steve?
No, it was after Steve.
That was after Steve. Okay.
Yeah.
And
that was back in 2003 and 2005. I did a bunch of shows with them, just solo, just me and acoustic guitar,
do you
opening up
like
for Def Leppard.
do you like festivals more in Europe or in the United States?
I like a festival if it's not raining. I don't care where it is as long as it's not raining. And you know, I've predominantly most of the festivals we do are in Europe, and if they're well run, they're great. You know, the smaller ones tend to be a little bit better just because the people seem to care more about it. There's more attention to detail. When you get one of those huge festivals with 16 stages going on, it can get a bit chaotic and, you know, a bit of a, yeah, it's just, you know, it's hard to focus because there's 15 bands playing at the same time. And, you know, so I prefer if it's a smaller festival, maybe 1-2 stages and it's easy to get around.
Do you find yourself get lost in that? Because I mean, if you're playing with Thin Lizzy or Almighty or whoever, you're pretty high up on the food chain as far as bands go. So,
Sure.
I
Yep.
mean, you're playing right along with like Metallica and
Yeah.
you know all these bands. I mean, so
Yeah.
give me a story from one of those festivals, like that where they had like one of those huge bands and you all were playing. Give me some like logistical nightmare or something.
You know, usually those things go off so well because they're so well organized. I remember a great festival that we did way back in '93 when I was in the Almighty. We played a festival in the UK, a venue called the Milton Keynes Bowl, and the lineup was Diamond Head,
Oh,
the
God.
Almighty,
Yeah.
Megadeth, Metallica.
Oh, wow.
And it was the first time I think that Dave Mustaine had shared a stage with Metallica guys or been on a bill since that went down. And it was one of those moments where I'm playing, you know, when you're playing on that huge stage, that Metallica stage set, there's 85,000 people there. And you sort of look out in the crowd. Now I look to my right and there's James Hetfield and Dave Mustaine watching the set. And it's just one of those moments as a kid, as a fan, you just go, oh my God. And you try and be cool and your stomach's got butterflies in it. And I just remember that being a very momentous moment in my life, just going, this is so cool. This is just great.
Have you ever looked over at the side of the stage and seen some crazy ass people watching you and go, oh my God, they're watching me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that happens a lot. We like having people on the side of the stage. We're one of the bands that encourages it. Some bands don't like people watching from the side. We actually like it. We like having people, friends or family there or just people watching from the side of the stage. I dig it. I think it's cool. I think it's nice.
I think the coolest time I ever was on the side of the stage. Well, when I did Rocklahoma, that was great. But
Yeah.
other than that, Detroit, Cheap for Trick was headlining. And I was
Awesome.
sitting on the side of the stage with Ted Nugent, the governor of Michigan, and somebody else. I can't remember. But, you know, Ted Nugent, the governor of Michigan. And I'm standing there. I'm the odd person out. And I'll never forget, Robin Zander was in purple suede. You know, and it was just so surreal, man, to watch it. It was like, it was at, do you remember when Deer Creek was there? The big amphitheater and outside of
I don't
Detroit,
know.
Michigan. Did you ever play there at all?
I don't think so. No.
The same place I saw Metallica sell out 2 shows.
Right.
But
yeah,
it was just amazing, man. It was like you're standing there and you're looking at all these people and you're like, holy crap, all these people come to see Cheap Trick. And this wasn't at Cheap Trick's biggest moment in their life. I mean, this is like 90, 95, 96. I mean, so this wasn't a huge Cheap Trick year. And that place was sold out watching Cheap Trick.
Wow.
Even the lawn.
Yeah, they're such a great band. I've had the honor of playing with those guys quite a few times, and they're just amazing. Robin is just such a great singer. What a voice!
What a voice! He's like, you're talking about old guys. He's in his 60s, ain't he?
Yeah, and he's still singing as sweet as ever, right?
And it's all the original members except for the drummer.
Yep. And then the drummer's obviously Rick's son, which keeps it real,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I mean, you know, where else can you go wrong?
Right? No, they're
of course,
great.
yesterday was the anniversary of Lennon and Dimebag's death.
Yeah, it was.
And you probably played with Dimebag, right? Back in the day.
I did. We played with Pantera. We did the European tour, then the Vulgar Display of Power album. We did 6 weeks with Pantera back in '94 when I was in the Almighty.
What a guy to watch live.
Yeah, he was great. He was a sweetheart. He was a super sweet guy. It was a real tragedy.
Now, do you now that you have children, and you said that one's 20, do they get to go out with you at all? Do they get to see you play?
Yeah, they do. I mean, they come to shows when we're when we're in California. They've been to shows. I mean, they've been even coming to shows when they were little. We would bring them down to the shows. Pepper, the 13-year-old now, has traveled on the tour bus a couple of times and got to hang out, and and she had a good time. So
Daddy's
yeah,
little girl,
absolutely.
huh?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
That's how they all are, aren't they?
Allegedly so,
Allegedly so.
allegedly so.
So let's get back to the record. So
Sure.
it's coming out on CD, digital, and vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the only thing I ever seen about vinyl is you got to buy this big ass package to get the vinyl. Is there a way to get the vinyl without buying
No,
the big ass package?
there's different. There's three different colored vinyls available, I think, and I think there's obviously just a plain black vinyl regular album edition available as well.
No, you've done vinyl a million times, so this isn't nothing new to you. So
No, we pretty much do it every record we put out if we can.
so did you pick out special vinyl for this, like colors or
Yeah,
anything?
they send me a color chart, and I tried to pick out the colors of the soccer team that I support. Which so they asked me to pick three. So my team plays in red, green, and black. So black's obviously what it is anyway. So there's that's not really going to change. But that's why I went for the red one and the green one, and then I let my manager pick the other color. I think he went for ivory white, ivory off white or something. So it's good. I mean, I loved it when I was a kid, when I was buying albums and you got the different colored vinyls. I used to love all that.
Do you
Still do.
have you got copies of it yet to look at it and see what it looks like?
I haven't. No, I'm usually the last person to get. No, nothing's come through yet. So hopefully they'll be sending the stuff pretty soon.
And what's the label it's on this time?
It's on Nuclear Blast.
Nuclear Blast. Okay, cool.
I've been with them for 9 years.
Wow, they've been pretty good to you.
They've been good. I mean, it's the longest. I mean, in this day and age, to be with a label as long as that is saying something, and they let me be me and they let me get on with it, and they've been pretty good up to now. I'm still there, and they still seem to want me around. So we'll keep on with it.
Is the colors overseas different at all?
That I don't know. I need to check on the store.
Because sometimes there's variations. That's
no, they are. I mean, there's so many different variants now that they put out. It's hard for me even to go, okay, what's going out where,
Have you had a lot of fans go to you and go, I got to have all of them?
Yes, which is lovely, which is great. I'm all for that.
Now, before we talked, you said that this new album is what, I can't remember how you put it, is because I said it was different than the other one. How's it different than the other ones?
Well, I think, obviously I'm working with Keith Nelson on this record. Your people will know Keith from Nelson from being in Buck Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith and I co-produced it, and Keith and I co-wrote a lot of the songs. And Keith and I are both very passionate about live guitars. So with that mindset, it was always going to be a very in-your-face anthemic rock and roll album. And we wanted to keep things simplified. All the songs are pretty much under 4 minutes. We wanted it to be direct. And we just really wanted to get back to what the essence of what we loved about rock and roll, would it be early Stones, early Aerosmith, Johnny Thunders, Ramones, Sex Pistols, stuff that really fired us up when we were kids. And, we tried to put that energy and attitude into the songwriting and into the playing.
What was the reason for releasing the two slower tracks?
To set up the album, you do a video, you put, I guess, for one of a
instead
better
of doing
word,
like a slow track and a faster track is what I meant.
Oh, I mean, I leave it up to that decision. I leave up to the record company and our radio guys. I've been working with them a long time, and they've been sort of successful over in Europe with Black Star Riders and the choices they've had. So I said, hey, what's going to work? What do you think was going to set this up best? And I trust their judgment, and I didn't have any arguments with them. Obviously, if I thought differently, I would have probably said something, but I think Fighting Heart and You Don't Love Me are the two tracks that set up the record really well, I think they're good indication. I think they're a good indication of what's to come,
I like You Don't Love Me a lot. I think it's great.
Thank you. Thank you so
That is
much. Thank
great.
you.
And that's Keith in the
Thank you.
video, right? Or am I
That's
wrong?
Keith. That's Keith Nelson on guitar in the video, and Robbie Crane from
Robbie Crane,
Black Star
yeah.
Red on bass guitar. Yeah.
And you play with Robbie quite a bit because of that.
Black Star Riders. Yeah. Robbie's
Yeah.
in Black Star Riders. Yeah. Yeah. Robbie's
And
great.
I remember him when he was in Union.
Wow.
Back
Yeah, he
with
was in
Bruce
Union.
Kulick and John Karawi.
That's right, and he was in Rat for a long, long time too.
Yeah, we won't.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that. Well, I guess I can edit it, but I just don't know how those two guys did it. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, let's put it that way. I just don't know how he did it. It's like I'm a huge Motley Crue fan, okay,
Right.
but I don't know
Yeah.
how Nikki Sixx could stand there with Vince Neil. I just don't. I mean,
Yeah.
and I say that with all the passion in the world because I grew up with Motley Crue.
Sure.
But,
Sure.
But the singers get lazy, man. It's like
Mm.
it's like if you go to a show and the guy's making this audience sing more than him, what'd you pay for? You know, to see Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee and Mick Mars? I mean, and Mick's getting, I don't even know if Mick's going to make it to this tour. You know, this was the biggest fiasco of them trying to do this stadium tour with, you know, nobody knew that it was going to be COVID, but I mean, I don't know, man. I see that you're doing some UK dates.
We're tentatively putting some, they're on sale. We're starting out in the UK. They're scheduled for end of April. Fingers crossed, you know, I'm hopefully trying to be optimistic that we should maybe be okay by then, some sense of normality. And then we'll take it from there, you know, rest of the world for the rest of the year, if we can get out and play.
And Keith and Robbie are going to be on that tour too?
No, I use a different touring band.
You do, man? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are they European or are they actually American?
They're both American. They're both here in Los Angeles.
Okay. Yeah. Because some people use, you know, people where they're touring because it's cheaper.
Sure. No, I have people that I use over in Europe, and then, you know, if I'm playing here, I probably use Keith and Robbie over in the States. Yeah, you know.
Cool. So you are planning actually doing an American tour then too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be doing some dates definitely before the end of next year if everything's okay. We get the green light, you know.
You think it'll be festival dates, or will actually be like club dates, or what?
I don't know. I mean, I know that, you know, our agents are looking at them now because people are now starting to talk about it for the first time, that it might be a possibility with the vaccines coming along, that people are starting to suddenly go, okay, we might get back to work next year. So hopefully I'll have more information soon.
That's good. That's good. And if you don't, then it'll be postponed.
You just move it. You just keep moving it back until you can get back at it, right?
By the time but by that time, maybe you'll have a new album, right? I mean, you won't be touring on the same album, right?
Yeah, well, you never know.
I mean, the cycles are quick.
The cycles are, the next album after this will be a new Black Star Riders album. That's due early 2022.
Okay, cool. And Damon has a new album coming out too, I heard.
Damon has a new solo record coming out in January, I believe. Yes. Yeah.
Now, do you all collaborate a lot still, even though you're not?
No, not since he's left Black Star Riders. We're still really great friends, and I still, you know, talk to the guy a lot. But he's busy doing his thing and doing a great job at it, and extremely happy. And you know, I'm busy doing my thing, and yeah, you know. But I'm sure, you know, I'm sure somewhere down the road we'll work together again at some point.
Would you ever step in the shoes and be in another band like you are with Thin Lizzy?
Depends who it is and depends what it is.
If you had any choice of bands, dead or living, let's say dead first and then living, what band would you want to be in?
It would have been cool to be a guitar player in Motorhead. I would have loved that.
Lemmy is great.
You know, Lemmy was amazing. It's hard for me to answer that because I'm in the band of my dreams when I was a kid. You know, I get to sing the Thin Lizzy stuff, so I kind of won the lottery on that one, you know.
Understand that. Where can people reach out to you?
RickyWarwick.com. I'm all over social media, Mike. You know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those places. Just at Ricky Warwick. It'll all come up there, and very active on social media. So there's lots of updates and lots of stuff going on, and you can get everything you need right there.
When's your next live show online?
This Saturday. This Saturday on Stage It. I'm doing a set of acoustic Almighty songs. Yeah.
Cool. Do you do that right there from your house?
I do indeed.
Cool, cool. And
Yep.
for people who know what stage it is, tell people what stage it is.
Stageit.com is an online platform that you can that puts on online concerts. And what I like about Stageit is it's almost like a live show without obviously playing live. You can sell tickets, you can sell merchandise. So it builds up like you're actually rehearsing for a proper live show. And you can interact with the people while you're playing as well, which is great. There's a little chat thing down sidebar that comes down, and this will be the 6th one I've done this year, and I've really enjoyed it, and the reaction's been very positive too. And
What's the price per show usually?
$5.
$5. Cool.
Yep.
That's great, man. And
thank you.
I appreciate you talking to me.